Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars. I'm your host, RJ Baxter with Intercap Lending, and we have got a really special guest on today. We have Connor Parsons from Homebot joining us. So normally I interview real estate agents and we talk about their business and what's made them successful. But what I've seen recently is the power of Homebot and how we can find opportunities within Homebot to generate more business. And that's why I wanted to have Connor on, because I thought this is a great topic to share so that you can also learn about some of these strategies. So welcome to the show, Connor. Definitely appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about yourself. How long have you been with Homebot?
Yeah, so I've been with Homebot now coming up on my third year. I actually started as one of the support reps at Homebot. So if you're tuning in and you're using Homebot today, if you've ever used that chat feature, reached out to our support team, that's the team that I started on. And then I became a customer success manager at Homebot, getting close to 2 years ago now. And so been doing that and supporting different companies on Homebot, of course, including Intercap.
Awesome. And what's your background before this?
Great question. So interestingly enough, I actually graduated college with a film production degree, which I am not using today. My wife got a job straight out of college that took us to Denver. I actually got a job at Uber while we moved. So I was working for Uber at corporate. That got me into the tech space. Came to find out, that was in a sense kind of my calling. I loved getting into like the different softwares and then just in general just helping people as well. And that's what eventually led me to Homebot. Just having that additional experience, I really thought helped land me the job there. Of course, started in support and then became a customer success manager.
Nice. So where are you from? Where did you come in from when you moved to Denver?
So I was initially in St. Louis, and then I moved to Denver, and that's where Homebot is as well. Homebot headquarters is in Denver, and I was living there until about August of 2021, moved back home to St. Louis, moved in with my in-laws in their basement while my wife and I built a home, which is actually what you see behind me. So built a home here back in St. Louis. So I am working remotely for Homebot.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. So I've recently been trained on some tips on how to utilize Homebot at a deeper level and to look for opportunities. And that's why I wanted to have you on. So from a real estate agent perspective, what can Homebot do for them? And you might want to even just start with a basic, 30 seconds of what is Homebot if someone's listening and isn't even sure what Homebot is.
Yeah, so Homebot is a client for life portal for the real estate agent. And what it's going to provide automatically every single month to their database that they load into Homebot is a personalized home finance portal. So for all of their past clients that they want to get into Homebot, they're going to get this awesome personalized portal on their home to help them understand their home as an investment property, which is awesome. We have portals for our 401k, portals for our savings, but there's nothing specific to the home, the largest asset likely for a lot of folks. So they're going to have that at their disposal. And then it's also great for purchase prospects as well, because they're going to get an amazing search tool that's going to give them personalized financial insights on every listing that they view. And so for the real estate agent, what this is going to do is keep them top of mind every single month automatically. They're adding value back to their past clients, to their purchase prospects. And this is all automatic, right? You load your clients in Homebot, and this is sending every single month on their behalf, keeping them top of mind, nurturing past clients towards that next transaction. And same thing with purchase prospects, giving them something really valuable to help them stay competitive as a buyer, all while keeping that agent front and center throughout the entire experience. In either of those reports, whether they're a past client, whether they're a purchase prospect, there's going to be so many different opportunities that they're going to have to reach out to their trusted real estate agent with educated questions. There's over 52 different touch points throughout the digest where they can actually reach out to their trusted expert to contact them about some of those tougher questions that they may have and keep their agent in the loop about those next steps.
And I personally get Homebot and I love it. I'm a client too, and I open it almost every month. And what I've noticed with my clients is I get something like a 90% open rate with my clients that are getting Homebot on the lending side of things. So just that engagement is incredible. And they do reach out for some of these proactive things that they want information on, like a CMA or that kind of thing. So tell us more about some of these touch points that agents might see coming from clients.
Yeah, so I would say one of the best things about Homebot in terms of loading past clients into the system is that they're going to get a lot of information about their home's market, which is actually the most viewed section of Homebot by far. There's a lot of different things that they can see in there. They can learn about whether their home's market is like a seller's market right now versus a buyer's market. But what's really important in there is that every single past client is going to be able to see their selling signals. So whether it might be a good time to actually sell their home. So what we see a lot of clients asking today to their agents is now the right time for me to sell? So what Homebot is really going to help drive for agents is new listings with their past clients with that database that they load into the system. So that's some of the more common questions that I see, but also a lot of people are just sitting on a lot of equity. So learning how do I leverage this equity? And that's where you, RJ, as a loan officer, can be involved in that conversation as well, which is great, of course, for the agents. They don't have to feel that goes directly to you, but the agent is kept into the loop as well. And then we also see people just asking questions about the value of their home. It's like, hey, should this be a little bit higher? And it starts a great conversation and helps the agent learn more about that client's goals that they may have with their property.
I've heard that as an objection with Homebot, that sometimes people, and I had this objection at first, sometimes
Sure.
these values aren't accurate. People, maybe even occasionally get upset, like this, my home value is way more than this. Why is it saying that it's only worth this? But I talked to Homebot about that years ago, and I've heard this sense that, the cool thing about that is that you have a conversation with the person. So
Exactly.
it's the reason why they reach out. So you can, overcome that objection and talk to them about what Homebot is, and, real estate conversations ensue, and it could lead to opportunities. And then there's a place in there where you can fine tune their value, so you can then
Exactly.
make it a little bit better. So I understand that you can do a screen share with us. I'm using a new platform. There's a share button there at the bottom. Share screen. Do you have that there?
Yes, I sure do.
Yeah, I'd like you to, if you can, is to bring up an example of Homebot and show us some things that real estate agents can utilize within there to, to maximize their business and look for opportunities.
Absolutely. So this is my first time using Riverside here. So let me just make sure this is working correctly.
I went from Zoom to this about 4 episodes ago, so I'm getting fancy.
Let's see here. Let's make sure I'm doing this right. Can you see this okay, RJ?
Yeah, it's working, absolutely. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something, we do have a YouTube version, so you can tune in and see what Connor's showing us. But I'll do my best to explain what he's showing us as we walk through this.
Yeah, so RJ, can you just recap for me what you'd like for me to demonstrate within this report? Do you want me to go into an example report? Would you rather me stay kind of on the back end side of things here and really show how agents might be able to utilize this? What do you think is going to be the most impactful information for your listeners?
Well, let's start first with an example of the report itself. So I think
Sure.
there's 2 versions, right? There's one for people that we've helped with a transaction, and then there's a report for buyers that are out looking. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So there's going to be 2 different sides of Homebot. And the great thing about this is no matter how you add a contact into the system, whether you add them in as a past client, they own a home, or whether you add them in as a purchase prospect, they can organically opt into either side of the experience easily through either of the reports that they receive. So if they're a past client, they're getting that report on their home, they can actually start to look at those selling signals I was talking about and then start to engage with listings and then start to build out a buyer profile. Same thing if they're a buyer, they're added into the system, they're getting that buying report. They can actually add in a home so that say they close, they can actually add in that home and start to receive that home report from their agent. So that way they're continuing to be nurtured in this system. So there's really just value to be had for any type of circumstance, whether they're a first-time home buyer, whether they're renting currently, whether they're looking to trade up and buy a new home, whether they're looking to buy investment properties. Doesn't matter. We have something for every kind of client scenario within Homebot. So what I'm going to pull up now is an example digest here for us. So right now I'm on the back end side of Homebot. So this is as the account holder. So as a real estate agent, this is exactly what you'd be looking at on your side of things. And what I'm going to take us into is an example report. So I'm going to preview this digest here for this example test client that I have in Homebot
This is a
here.
client that we would have closed a transaction for, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So this is going to just be a great example of all the different types of information that they're going to see within this report that they're going to be getting from their real estate agent monthly.
And I see right at the top, estimated value, and that's the hook. Like every month when I get it, I'm like, oh, I want to see what my value is this month. So I click on it. So that's, I think, why we get such a huge open rate.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to know what their home is worth? But that's not the true value of HomeBot because clients can find an estimated value of their home anywhere. I mean, they can go to Zillow, they can go to Realtor.com, they can go to Redfin. That isn't what necessarily differentiates us. It's all the rest of this educational content that they're going to get. Again, this is a personalized financial dashboard for their home. So there's so much more than they can sink their teeth into aside from that value. But in terms of that value, where we do differentiate ourselves is exactly what you're talking about earlier, RJ, is the fact that clients can actually come in here and tune their value. With a Zestimate, they're not able to do that. It's just a locked in value. There's no further conversation to be had. But this is coming from the agent month over month, and their client can come in here and say, hey, you know what? I've actually made a couple of updates to my home. So for the listeners right now, what I'm doing, I clicked on this tune your value button that allows me to actually tune my value up or down and actually indicate how many beds, baths, square footage, any changes that may have happened there, as well as any additional updates that I've made to the home. And that just informs you as the real estate agent that your client wants to start, a conversation. They want to get that comparative market analysis on their home. So this is such.
So we would get a
Yeah, go ahead.
CMA request when they click on the tune value. Is that?
So it actually is triggered through this button right here. So if they want that expert
the
opinion,
expert opinion button.
yeah. So let's say I want to pull this up to, I'm going from 515,000. I want to, let's say, me as the client, I think it's worth a little bit more because I know maybe I've made updates to my kitchen. Maybe I've added solar panels to the house. That's not something that public record is going to have available. So I want to inform my real estate agent of these updates. And what this does, it's going to notify the agent, let them know, hey, your client has tuned their value and they'd love to get your opinion on it. That starts a conversation. And sure, you might send this out to your clients that are like, hey, this value is lower than expected. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get that updated so that way this report is more valuable for you month over month. So at the very least, it starts a conversation, but puts you in the driver's seat to be able to have that conversation about the value and provide value back to your clients by getting them that more accurate value of their home. So that way the rest of this report is just a little bit more accurate for them moving forward. So as I go through the rest of this funnel here, again, it's going to ask me beds, baths, square footage, if I made any updates there, and then the square footage. And then I get to say if I've made any updates. So I mentioned maybe I did a kitchen remodel. Maybe I have added solar panels. So I would say that is other. Maybe it was exterior upgrades. I click continue here. I get that cool little animation, lets me know, hey, your estimated home value has increased. And then as the agent, I would then get a notification from my client and would be able to follow up from there. And another reason why something like this is so valuable is because it may be an early indication that your client is considering selling their home. So if you are on Homebot today, thinking about signing up for Homebot, and you start receiving these, look at their past engagement, which you're going to be able to track, but then also call your client, follow up with them. Let them know, hey, I just got this request from you. I'd love to learn, more about why you think your home value is X amount. What are your goals with your property right now? Is your home still working for you? Do some discovery to learn what those goals are for your client, because this could be an opportunity to nurture them towards that next transaction. If they are thinking, hey, you know what? My family's growing. I need additional square footage. This home is not working for me right now, but I wanted to get a better understanding of what my home's actual value is. So again, that's just a great opportunity for you, and Homebot is going to give you that competitive edge to let you know of those early signals of when your client is considering selling their home. But of course, make sure to follow up with that phone call.
Yep. Okay.
And so for those that are actually able to view this here, some additional information that your clients can see on this report. They have their mortgage information that's going to be pulled in through public record for you. So all you need to get your clients into Homebot is first name, last name, email, home address. That is it. We'll pull the rest for you, and then they'll be able to come in and adjust these numbers if they need to. They can also update their balance, and that's going to update the rest of this report for them in real time. But as I mentioned, there's so much more that they can sink their teeth into here. They'll be able to learn more about their market, whether it's a seller's or a buyer's market currently, how quickly homes are selling in their area, the average square footage, beds, baths of homes in their area. And then again, those selling signals here. This is going to be such an awesome section for past clients of real estate agents, just because it's going to help drive more listings. Because for a lot of people, you don't know what you don't know. And so as they come in here and see some of these green signals, it's going to get them thinking. It's like, oh, is now a good time for me to actually sell my home? And they can dive into it further and start to engage even deeper. And then ask more questions. Hey, should I hold on to my house? Do you know of any buyers who would be interested in my home? How's the market for buying right now? So they have, again, all of these pre-scripted questions they can ask you. Those go directly to your email inbox, so you'll be able to respond right away. You actually don't have to log into Homebot to view that, but of course that will be captured in your account for you. But then you can ask a question right here as well. So they can ask their own. We have these pre-scripted questions for them to be able to ask some more of those educated questions, but they can type in their own here. But this is just an example of how your clients are going to be able to engage with you. But keep in mind, everything that they click on here, you're going to be able to track that with your account. You're going to have an activity feed to be able to see every single thing that your clients click on. So even if they're not clicking on those bubbles, reaching out to you, you'll have all the ammo you need to be able to call your clients, and every excuse you need to call your clients, pick up the phone, be able to strike when the iron is hot, and follow up and just ask how Homebot's going, and then use that as a springboard to more conversations with your client about their home or about their purchasing goals.
Okay, nice. So some of these things I'm looking at here, like high value market, or seller's neighborhood versus buyer's neighborhood. How does Homebot know this stuff? How do they find this information out?
Yeah, so we have a multitude of sources that we pull from in order to kind of compile these reports that you see here. So first and foremost, estimated home values. Where are we getting those from? We get those from Black Knight Financial Services. They're one of the best data aggregators in the country. They use a combination of 14 algorithms. We take the average of those to calculate those estimated home values that you see here. And then as for some of that market data, like what we are just looking at here within this market panel, we're getting this from a company called Altos Research. So we're using a combination of that data to be able to calculate some of these things that you see here. And then we also have a couple of other different partners here. So we do have a refinance section that's going to pop up for clients for as long as their loan is 6 months or older. And we pull these interest rates here from Freddie Mac every single Thursday, and we round up a quarter of a point. And then all the way down here, this Airbnb module where clients can learn about the benefits of short-term rental in their area and their specific market. We're getting that from a company called AirDNA, which is actually, interestingly enough, their company is right across the street from Homebot headquarters.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just had a kind of like a lunch and learn session with them the other day. Of course, I wasn't able to attend because I'm remote, but I know that they were hanging out at the Homebot office, so they're a great partner of ours.
I'm sure lots of synergies there. Awesome. So, what are some ways that realtors can use this Home Buyer Digest, or not Home Buyer Digest, but Home Digest proactively? Because you talked about some of the alerts they might get by email when people reach out, but how can they go in here and look for opportunities?
Yeah, so one quick thing I wanted to touch on as well. So we talked about that market panel and being able to see selling signals. I also wanted to just quickly touch on this purchase power section because again, a lot of people have a lot of equity right now that they're sitting on. And for many of the clients that agents may load into their database, they're probably going to see their clients engaging in these sections, which is awesome because this again could be an early indication that a client is considering maybe selling, trading up, maybe buying an investment property, and they can engage within that kind of information here in Homebot. We actually give them listings that they're able to view. And so as clients kind of go through this funnel of opening their digest, clicking on purchasing power, and then maybe looking at listings, all of that is going to track back to that activity feed. So what I'm doing now, I'm taking us back out of that example client report and taking us into my account as the loan officer. So I have a loan officer account here, but everything that you guys are going to be looking at, you are also going to have access to with Homebot. So all of this is going to look the exact same layout here for you. So if you don't have an account today, thinking about getting signed up, this will be the exact same flow here for you. But here's that activity feed that you're touching on, RJ. So this has a 30-day performance here, which is just a quick snapshot of your overall account health. It'll let you know how many.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is what comes up when this is what comes up when someone first logs in, right?
Absolutely. So they go to homebotapp.com, plug in their email, password, boom, it's going to take them right here to this activity feed. Okay. So there's a lot of great information on this page, and this is going to be where real estate agents are going to live in Homebot. This is how you can prospect within Homebot because this is where all of that engagement is going to be. So again, we have that quick 30-day performance here. Again, just lets you know how many people we've sent Homebot out to over the course of the last 30 days, how many people are opening up those emails, so what's the email open rate, and then we have the home views here, which is going to be the true engagement rate. So that's going to be the number that we're going to want to focus on here. And on average at Homebot, we have a 40% engagement rate. And I know RJ, yours is really high too. Do you know what your engagement rate is today?
I could tell you because I'm logged in. 48%.
Wow,
so,
that is incredible. So close to half of your clients. And how many clients do you have loaded, RJ?
I've got, would that be home sends?
Yeah, so that would be a good number.
Yes, 733.
Wow, that's incredible. So about half of your clients not only are just opening up the email, but they're engaging with this digest. I mean, that's incredibly impressive. So I mean, that just goes to show the value of Homebot. You know, again, this is a personalized home finance portal. This is information people care about at the end of the day. So the great thing about a tool like this is that it's super non-invasive and just really valuable. for anyone that you add, which is going to help keep your past clients super, super sticky. Same thing with your purchase prospects as well, because this is just value you're giving to them at the end of the day. So in terms of working the account, how do you get the most value out of something like Homebot? It really comes down to this that we're looking at right here. And this is the activity feed. So this is a time-stamped view of all of the engagement from all of my clients that I have loaded in Homebot. Now, this is really just the tip of the iceberg here. Something that we send every single Monday is a weekly recap email, which will tell you who your most active homeowners and buyers are in Homebot. So that way you know who you may potentially need to reach out to, who you need to give a call to. But this activity feed here is going to tell you how they're engaging. So what are they actually clicking on? What are they thinking about as they're engaging within this system? So you have this timestamp view here. So something that I would recommend doing on a weekly basis is using this motivated to sell filter. Just click on it. All you got to do is click on it, and then it's going to tell you anyone who might potentially be motivated to sell. And what it's going to look for is anyone that's been in their home for 2+ years or more, has positive home appreciation or positive home equity, and has looked at that should you sell section of Homebot. And so if you have anyone that pops up here, give them a call. Again, see how they're enjoying Homebot. See if they have any questions for you. See if their home is still working for them. Ask some of those open-ended questions to get that conversation started, put them in the driver's seat, and then hopefully that'll be a fruitful conversation for you. But if not, at the end of the day, you're getting back in touch with your client. You're having that touch point. And then if they're really enjoying Homebot, a great way to build client-to-client referrals through our system is to let them know that they can actually share Homebot with anyone. Every homeowner, every past client that you add into Homebot, they're going to have the ability to share Homebot. They have a share button, and it's they're going to have a link that they can just simply send in a text message. They can just instantly post to Facebook from that share button. Then they can also send one-off invites as well. So that's a really great way to build client-to-client referrals. As you're having these calls, let them know that that feature exists, because I'm sure they know of some of their family members that would love to get a personalized report on their home and have a trusted expert in their area to be able to reach out to with some of those tougher questions that they may have about moving, about their markets that they're interested in, about, whether a property that they're looking at is going to be a good investment for them. That's that's like the true value here is just getting them connected with you, but giving them just a ton of value through a system like Homebot. So this activity feed here is going to be a very advantageous tool here for you, because you can use that motivated to sell filter. You can look at your active homeowners, your active buyers, use these as call lists, but then you can even take it a step further. Maybe you want to look for your buyers that are engaging with listings on Homebot. You can search for that specifically. Or maybe you want to look for homeowners or buyers that have messaged you in the past 30 days. Maybe you need to follow up. You're like, who messaged me again? I know I've been falling a little bit behind. Boom, you can just select those right here, click update feed, and then it'll show you everyone. Here, let me go back to all here. Everyone that has messaged you in the last 30 days. And you can notice here, you can clear those filters out, take those out, and then do a different search here. So as you load, let's say hundreds of clients, there's going to be a lot of activity here to view. So some of these buttons here are going to help you prospect more easily with Homebot.
Okay. And then they can actually view homes in here too, right? Isn't there a view
Yeah,
homes?
so you're talking about like the listing side of Homebot?
Yeah, is that separate from this part of it? Well, this is the activity feed. So where do they do? Show us the listings part of it is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, so again, right now what we're looking at here, this is kind of like the realist or the account holder view side of Homebot. So as you log into your account, this is what you're going to see. Not necessarily, of course, what your clients are going to be able to see. So
I guess what I'm trying to say is though, can we see who's been looking at listings in here?
Yeah, so
Like with our
in
panel?
terms of the activity, we'll be able to see that just through active buyers here. And so we
Okay.
can see anyone that's been engaging with listings on Homebot. We can see that Zachary here actually has a home and has been searching on Homebot. That's what these little symbols indicate. So there's a home icon
Oh, so
to indicate they're a homeowner, and this little magnifying glass to indicate they're also a buyer in Homebot. But then we can see all of that time stamped here. But then I could take it a step further. I can click on their name and get their all-time activity. So this is all-time activity ever since they were first added into Homebot. So everything that they've actually done in the system, I can track all of that right here, hop into any of their profiles. So this is a nice window to be able to springboard into their profile or their report or their buyer report, but then also see all of that recent engagement and then look at their direct messages that they've sent as well.
Okay. So I don't want to turn this into a scripting episode, but what would you say to people when you call them from Homebot? Let's say Zachary, for example, you can see he's been looking at a couple listings. He's got a buyer profile. What would you say to these clients when you call them based on this Homebot report?
Yeah, so that's always like the trickiest question to answer, right? Is like, how do you follow up on something where we know every single thing that they're doing in the system? And so
And
I
they
think
don't
it's
know we know.
best. Yeah, exactly.
What we're
So they
spying
don't know,
on.
So it's best to try and avoid that as much as possible, and really just ask more open-ended questions like I was getting at earlier. So in terms of calling Zachary, let's see, he sent me a direct message 7 hours ago. So that's an easy way for me to follow up. He's already reached out to me. So I'm going to reach back out to him. Hey, you had messaged me 7 hours ago asking to get pre-qualified for this listing. Let's talk about your purchase goals. Let's talk about this listing that you're looking at here. Are you working with a buyer's agent? Do you have any agents that you know of that you'd like to work with? If not, I got a real estate agent I'll be able to get you in touch with. But of course, as the agent sending this, they're going to be having that conversation. RJ, I guess that would be more tailored towards you. But if they haven't reached out, if you're trying to reach out proactively, I would say one of the best methods is just calling to ask for their feedback on Homebot. This is a system that's new for me as it is for you. I'd love to get your feedback on this. Is this something that you're getting a lot of value out of? What questions do you have? Have you been looking at this? And asking more of those open-ended questions is going to get the client talking and can really help drive that conversation where it may need to go without saying, hey, I noticed you were doing this specific activity exactly 20 minutes ago. Again, that can come off as a little intrusive. We'll try to avoid that.
Yeah.
So I think just calling to get their feedback and then, ask about their goals with their home. Of course, if they've had a conversation, maybe about their family, just add in those different touch points. So that way it feels more like it's coming from a place of care and help, and trying to be that advocate and that advisor and consultant for that specific client.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay. What else would you like to show us? Can you show us what the buyer side of this looks like?
Absolutely. So there's a couple of different pieces to the buyer side, but just as much value with the buyer side as there is for a past client for a homeowner. So what I'm going to do here, similar to what we did for Zachary, you're going to take us into an example client. So let's use Barbara Buyer here as the example. I'm going to preview her report. Okay. And I think this actually pulled up a new tab. So let me click share this tab instead. Okay. Can you see this okay, RJ?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, awesome. So right now, what we're looking at is a buyer's report for one of my clients. So she has gone in to this Market Explorer here and has been looking at different zip codes of interest. So I'm just going to take us in there just to show you guys what this experience looks like. So anytime that you add a new buyer to Homebot, this is the first part of the experience. We're first going to ask them where they're looking to purchase a home, how quickly they're looking to move, and their price point. And then if you've added in a customized video, there's a lot of different opportunities you're going to have with Homebot and adding in personalized video content. Let's say you add that in there. they're going to get that welcome video from you introducing them to the buyer side of Homebot. And here, they're going to be able to look at different markets based upon, look at information on markets based upon their specific purchasing goals. So what we're looking at here, this is a map of St. Louis. So this is where I live. And all of these numbers that you see here, these are tailored to different zip codes. And this is the market temperature for each of these areas. So the higher the number, the more it's a seller's market. The lower the number, the more it's a buyer's market. So some of these higher numbers here, what that equates to is potentially bidding wars. It's a really competitive area. They may have to bid over asking. And in terms of like the lower numbers, it's going to be much more of a buyer's market. So less potential for any of those bidding wars that may happen, but it's not as a competitive area. So they're really going to be able to fine tune what specific market is that they're looking for and what's going to be right for them and their family. So we have this view here, but then we can also switch this to the square footage that I can afford in each of these markets. So maybe my family is growing and I need more square footage. My home is not working for me. I need to level up. I need to get an additional bed with my house. I can start to look at markets based upon the square footage I can afford in those areas. Then we have price points. So say that they're an investor, they're looking for the cheaper buy. They can look at price points. And then quickest moving timeline. Maybe they're moving from a different state. Maybe they have a rush timeline because they're moving out of their house. So this is going to be really useful for those folks as well. So this is the first part of the buyer side of Homebot and the value that a purchase prospect will be able to get. And again, your past clients can access this as well. But this is just the tip of the iceberg here. If I click into any of these areas, so let's say I go into Chesterfield as an example, I can then start to look at listings in that area. But before we hop into that, did want to show that buying report again, because any market that I favorite, so let's say I add this to my favorites. If I go back into my buying report, this is what I'm going to get every single month. This is a way for me to compare and contrast all of my favorited markets. So you can see here, based upon what I was just talking about, I have the market temperature for all of these areas where I may want to purchase a home, the buying timeline, the square footage I can afford, the average price points. So there's a lot of value that I can get just out of this here. But of course, I can reach out to my real estate agent right here with any questions that I have. Maybe I want to know what areas I should be looking at. If there's new construction I should know about.
And those favorites are by zip code, is that right? Or
Those are by zip code, exactly.
okay.
So we wanted to have this awesome kind of investor grade market experience to start them off in Homebot, but then they can search for homes. So right from the top of my report, I can just click search homes. But then of course, as you saw earlier, if I'm looking at a market, I can engage with the listings in that market. But then if I go into search, there's a lot that I can do in here as well. This is going to be very intuitive for your buyers. If they're favoriting different listings in here, or maybe turning on alerts for a market, that's just additional touch points that you're going to have with your clients. And we're going to let them know if there's any changes to that market, maybe new listings hit that market, or the listings that they're favoriting. If there's any changes there, we'll alert them as well. So just additional touch points and additional value you're sharing with your clients. But I would say the best part about this search experience is the budget-based financial insights that your clients get to have through this listing search here. So right here, they can click Get Started and then build out their own budget-based profile. So that way, any listing that they view, they can start to understand, okay, is this a smart buy for me based upon my budget that I've set? Am I going to lose money over time? Is this above my price point? Am I going to be paying more monthly than I'm anticipating here? So setting this profile just gives them additional information to buy smarter, to prevent buyer's remorse. So there's a lot of value that they're getting out of here as well. And then of course, there's going to be a ton of different ways that they can contact their real estate agent through here, which is awesome. So right now, I'm getting this as the client from my loan officer. So this is going to look a little bit different here. It's going to say Real Estate Pro. It's going to say, how's this market for buying? And then I can call, email, schedule a tour. Now, keep in mind, this is mobile friendly as well. So if they click call or email, that's just going to pull up either, their phone app that they have, their email on their phone if they're doing that on their phone. But of course, they can access this on their laptop as well. So there's going to be a couple of different ways for them to engage with their real estate agent through here. Now, keep in mind, agents don't necessarily have to use this listings tool. They can also integrate their own custom IDX feed into Homebot. So if they don't want to have this live for their clients, they're going to have that capability as well.
That's awesome. Is that complicated to do, or how do they do that?
No, so not too complicated, I would say. Definitely a little bit of finessing to get that to connect. Essentially, what they'll do, they'll just take their that website that they have, just plug in a zip code, and then they're just going to take that link, take out the zip code. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We have an easy process there for that. I would say in the case that they're interested in adding their custom IDX, they'll be able to reach out to our support team to get that connected. So in the case that it's taking a little bit to get that connected, they'll have our support team there to assist them with that process.
Great.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't worth getting too into the weeds there.
Yeah,
on
need
that.
to get super technical, but it's
exactly
good to know that they can do that. I had no idea, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, so they're going to have, our native home search available at their fingertips. And again, this just drives deeper engagement. They get all the insights from this as well. So as clients engage with new listings, start new searches, favorite listings, turn on alerts, reach out to you for questions, all that comes right back to that activity feed here. So that would be like the benefit of using this listing search, is just the fact that you're going to gain some more of those insights, but you will have that opportunity to redirect traffic to your own website in the case that that's something that you prefer over using this search here. And then one more thing I wanted to point out, clients can access those favorited listings, save searches right here. And let's say you have clients that just go to Zillow, like that's their main place of searching, and they would prefer to go there. Well, we have actually built out something that solves for that. As you add your buyers to Homebot and they start a search, they're going to have the opportunity to download our Google Chrome extension. When they download that, what they're going to be able to do is go to Zillow, which I'm going to pull up right now, just to show you guys a live demonstration of what this looks like here. So I'm going to share this tab instead, get this pulled up, hoping I'm still logged into this extension. So hopefully this works here for us. So let's say I pull up this property here. Okay, yeah, it looks like for me this is still not connected. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show this live, but you can see here that there is that Homebot icon that's going to show up. So in the case that your clients still want to go to Zillow, that's okay, because now what you can say is, use Zillow, absolutely, but I would love to be able to help you as you're searching on other searching sites as well. So download Homebot's Chrome extension. What that's going to do for them, they're going to get the same financial budget-based insights, even if they're going to sites like Zillow, while having you there front and center over this Zillow experience. So that way they have their trusted agent to reach out to with any of their questions. So rather than, contacting someone on here, they're going to reach out to the person that they trust, because now they have this pretty awesome Homebot Chrome extension downloaded.
Very cool. I didn't know about that extension either, so learn something every day.
That you do.
Yeah. And then I understand you don't have to necessarily show us in depth, but I understand you can customize this stuff too. You can put videos in there so that they can see you when Homebot's introduced to a client, that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. So let me go ahead. It looks like got to reshare here. So let me go back into my Homebot here. RJ, can you see this?
I can. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so there is going to be a couple of different opportunities real estate agents will have in terms of further customization of their home bot. And some of the ones that we had already touched on and what you're talking about is video. So what I'm going to take us to here is this videos tab. So this is just underneath customize. If I go to videos, this tool right here is called Video Manager. And as I'm scrolling through here, you'll see there's a lot of different opportunities for me to plug in videos. And what this is a way for you as the real estate agent to plug in video content into every single module that your clients can engage with. So when we were pulling up that homeowner report earlier and showing the should you sell section and showing that purchase power section, you can actually add in video content there to engage with your clients as they're engaging with that section of HomeBot. So what this is doing is helping build your brand, further personalize your HomeBot, creating deeper engagement with your clients, and adding in a call to action as well to let them know of the best ways to get in touch with you. And of course, providing that additional education for them as well. So some of the videos I'd recommend starting with are the welcome videos here. So you can actually introduce your clients to HomeBot the first time that they get it from you. And again, this is all automatic. So you load your clients into HomeBot, they get a welcome email from you first and foremost that you can customize as well. And then they're going to get their home or buyer report. And you can have a video that plays as soon as they open up that report for the first time. So it's a great way to build more rapport with your client, provide some deeper education right up front about the system. So that way you're keeping engagement super high right out of the gate. And if you're someone that's maybe concerned about the estimated home values, this is a great opportunity to get ahead of that. You can let your clients know, hey, first thing, when you look at your HomeBot report, look at your value. If that's off, give me a call. So that way we can make sure that we can tweak this together to make sure that this report is serving you in the future. Again, builds further trust with you, builds further trust with HomeBot, and then they're going to continue to engage with this because they know that they'll be able that you'll be able to respond to any of their inquiries because you're helping them just right out of the gate here.
Yeah, I love it. I think that anytime you can get yourself on a video like that and personalize it, there's power in that. So
Absolutely.
that's a great
And
feed.
this can be pretty overwhelming. There's so much here. I did want to mention too that we have scripts and video examples for every single one of these options that you see here. So for the real estate agents tuning in, if you're looking at this feeling overwhelmed, just know that you have that at your disposal, so you do not have to reinvent the wheel whatsoever. And that's just located right here. You click on that pink little bubble right there. You click on help, and then you can search for any of the scripts. So let's say we want to do the homeowner intro script. You can get that pulled up right here. And then this is just all in app. So I have this ready to go right on the same screen. Oop, zoomed in a little bit there. It'll show you where that video will play for your client. And then it'll also have that scripting point here for you. So again, don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have this example video. So if you're someone that's maybe new to video, getting started and still a little bit overwhelming, know that you got a lot of help here with a tool like Video Manager. And then in terms of just HomeBot in general, I would say this help center is truly awesome. You can find anything and everything that you're looking for in here.
Yeah, you guys are super responsive there. So I've definitely used it and I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Man, there's just so much here. This is such a powerful program. I mean, my philosophy, I've had HomeBot for probably 6 years. And my philosophy up until recently was, well, I'll just plug my people in there. And when they click the button for a CMA or whatever, then I'll call them. And, it was maybe a couple of weeks or something like that, which was great. But as I've dove more into this, and every time I do, I learn more. Like just today, I learned about a couple things I didn't know about. There's just more and more tools in here to proactively find business and find opportunities to talk to people and have conversations about real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's that's one of the best parts about HomeBot in a market that we're experiencing right now. It is a slow market. And Homebot is going to give real estate agents that competitive edge and know when to be able to call their clients and have every excuse to call their clients. And it's going to give them so many more at bats. And we need that right now in a market like we're having today. So this is going to be
Absolutely.
super valuable for your past clients, your purchase prospects. And then what I'm showing right here is the share section of Homebot. And this is a way for you, RJ, and then of course all the listeners to be able to use Homebot to capture new leads. So when signing up for Homebot, or if you're on Homebot, these are the 3 lead capture pages that you're going to have. These are personalized to your account. So if you were to copy this link, maybe share it with a friend, they could click on that link, plug in their information, and become a lead on your Homebot. So how I see people using this today, how I see real estate agents using this, loan officers using this, adding this into email signatures, using this in social media campaigns, posting this on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok even. I've seen it posted there as well. So there's a lot of opportunity here to help you capture new business and then nurture them in Homebot. This is free to the end consumer. This is a personalized financial dashboard on their home if they own a home. But then there's a ton of information for buyers as well to be able to know what markets are going to be the best market for them based on their purchasing goals, and then to have all of the listings there and then get the budget-based insight. So there's lots of value for anyone. Again, whether they own a home, whether they don't, there's going to be a lot that they're going to be able to get out of this. So it's going to be really easy for you to sell and push because this is valuable for them at the end of the day. And I would say number one most widely used way of using this property search leads landing page or the homeowner leads landing page is to take them, turn them into QR codes, and put them on a flyer at open houses that you're doing. It's such a great way to capture the information of all the buyers that are walking through that door, but provide them with something super valuable as they're walking out. Now you're staying top of mind with them every single month. They're getting that buyer report from you. And then you'll be able to know exactly what they're doing within Homebot because you have that activity feed. You can see all of their engagement. But it's also great for the nosy neighbors too. You know, they're walking into this home. They want to know what it looks like. They lived across the street from it. But you can provide something valuable to them as well with the homeowner leads capture page. They can scan that QR code and now get a personalized report on their home. And now you're staying top of mind with someone that you just met that owns a home. And now, you know, as they start thinking, maybe a couple of years down the road, they start thinking about selling. Guess what? You've been nurturing them in Homebot. They're going to reach out to you because your face has been in front of them every single month. So there's so much opportunity here. And I would say turning these into QR codes is a no-brainer. When I'm driving on the highway and I see a QR code on like another car or something, I'm not going to pull out my phone to scan it, but I'm so tempted every single time. When people see QR codes, they want to scan them. So it's a great way to provide value and, of course, help you capture new business as well. So this would be another great recommendation here and just another tool that Homebot provides.
Wow. I thought you were done with the great ideas and you come with this. This is another really good one. So I love this.
And I would say I've seen this used a lot for like colder leads as well. In case there's any agents that are listening that are maybe using CRMs and maybe have a group of colder leads in there, you can use these and send it out and just say, hey, you know, I've been getting, I just invested in a new tool called Homebot. This is what it does, provides a lot of value to homeowners. This is personalized home finance dashboard. The clients that I have in here today are getting a lot of value out of it. I thought it'd be useful to share this with you. So if you want to opt in, here's a link. So it's just a great way to re-engage with them and allow them to opt in. But of course, if you're loading clients into your Homebot, it's more of an opt-out model. So they can unsubscribe if they want to, but this is valuable information at the end of the day, which is why we have a less than 2% unsubscribe rate at Homebot.
I love it. I love it. So if a real estate agent is listening to this and they don't have Homebot, how can they sign up?
Great question. So, a couple of different ways that they can do it. You can just go to Homebot, homebotapp.com, homebot.ai, and there's going to be just a get started button there that you can click on, and then you'll be able to say, I'm a real estate agent, and then set up your account from there. It's $25 a month. There is a one-time $50 setup fee as well. And you're going to gain all of the features that you saw today. Now, keep in mind, co-sponsoring with a lender, that is definitely in your best interest, because buyer side of Homebot and all the video features that we just talked about, those are actually locked without a lender co-sponsor. So reach out to RJ here, because he's going to be able to unlock a lot of additional tools for you and just help you along the way as well, provide you with some coaching. RJ here, he's a pro with Homebot. Of course, I'm helping him learn more, but he's going to be able to share a lot of best practices with you. So definitely would recommend co-sponsoring with RJ. Again, that's going to just unlock some more tools for you. And RJ is just a pro and a great asset to have.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for that, Connor. And yeah, in Intercap, we have the highest level Homebot subscription, from my understanding. So we have all the bells
Yes,
and
sir.
whistles, which makes it even more powerful. So I'm definitely happy to talk to anyone listening to this about what that looks like and help you guys out with your Homebot or co-sponsor. So definitely reach out if that's something that interests you.
Yeah, and I would say in terms of like signing up, probably the best way is just to reach out to you. So I would say for all the listeners, just reach out to RJ, because he can also, through his invitation, can set you up with a free version of Homebot
I was
that
just going to
only
say that.
comes from
Yep.
a lender co-sponsor. So just another a valuable piece of that partnership through RJ is having access to that free version of Homebot. Think of it as a trial version. Full access to the system actually doesn't expire, but you can only load up to 25 clients individually. So it's a great way to really test out the system, make sure that this is something that's going to be valuable for you. And then if you're like, I want to get my whole database in here, you can just upgrade to Pro at any time. Then you get 500 clients and the ability to upload clients in bulk. So you can just take a CSV Excel file, drop that into Homebot. That sends it over to our data team. We'll take care of the rest for you. And then we'll start sending out those reports and welcome emails to your clients automatically.
Nice. Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on the show today, Connor. That was some awesome information, and definitely appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Again, thank you so much, RJ, for having me on. I know that we kind of got a little bit into the weeds here on some of those tools and best practices, but I hope that for all your listeners, you guys were able to get something valuable out of this call. And then I would say, I'm a resource here at Homebot as well, but we have an incredible support team. So in that pink chat bubble on your account, if you have one, or if you don't have one, that pink chat bubble is a great way to contact our support team with any of your questions that you have. They're incredible. I love working with them. They're real human beings. This is not like a chat GPT or anything like that. Real human beings you can contact with your questions. You have me, you have RJ. So you have a lot of support here at Homebot to help you get started.
Yeah, and if you're still with us and just listening to the audio and you want to find us on YouTube, you can see the version where Connor was sharing his screen and showing us this stuff. Or again, I'm happy to sit down with you and drill into your Homebot so we can look at it more in depth as to what you could do there. So anyway, thanks again, Connor. And if you are listening and enjoyed this episode and have some friends in the business that could benefit from this, please share it with them. That's how the word gets out. And also consider leaving us a 5-star review. And once again, my name is RJ Baxter with Intercap Lending, and we appreciate you guys all listening. Have a great rest of your day.